everybody. I'm over it. I'm mad and I'm done. I'm so done. But you know what? We're going to go over this. I have the transcript. I organized it by speaker. I did not get it cleaned up for any because I want all of those in there. And we will not be entertaining anybody who comes around that tries to throw in way down on this if they are not autistic, neurodivergent, have people in their family, or have literally written a book on it or could. Okay? If somebody doesn't match that, their opinion doesn't matter. Okay. All right. So I don't think they're going to come in. This is for us. This is for our sanity, etc., and so forth, or what's left of it. And yeah. So give me a second to fix this for the live on TikTok. So I'm going to try going on there too. I just am not used to setting it up. So 1 second, then we'll be ready to go. But yeah. It was remarkably bad. And there's no limit to how bad it was. Okay, wait, whoops, this is the wrong screen. Hold on, let me fix that. My bad. One second. I didn't realize I did that on the other screen last time. Okay, wait, let me get out of that. Close that. Has to be on this screen. Okay, no problem. Some problems, but less than I sometimes have. Okay. A manageable amount of problems. That's what I aim for. Not no problems. That's totally unrealistic. Have you seen me? But we will go for enough problems that I will not freak out. Okay. Let's see here. So that's, where am I? Okay, what? Okay. Can I duplicate this? I think I'm in this one. Duplicate scene. Did I duplicate the scene? I'm so confused. Oh, I did. Okay. Alrighty. So, I am very confused. Oh, I do. Oh, what the fuck? Okay, no, wait. No. I was right. I'm gonna have to change this guy. That's what it is. This is on the wrong. Wait, no, this is on the right screen. I'm confused. Okay, this is gonna take me a minute, y'all. Just bear with me. And also, my camera's at a dumb angle. I haven't streamed for a while, so it's not good. It's bad. It's not good. It doesn't look good, Jane. What are you doing, Jane? Why are you doing it like this? I don't know. I don't understand. Okay, so if I want this, what screen is on? Oh, that's the screen over there. Okay, hold up. I can figure this out. I mean, maybe. You should see what I'm doing over here. It's all crazy, dude. Alright, so if that's like that, and okay, so I'm gonna want to, this is so annoying. Okay, delete that. Okay. Alright, we're almost there. Let me throw on my glasses. Get sort of comfortable. Do you have a link to the transcript? Yes, I can do that. Let me grab it. I'll just put it in a shareable format. A second. That's not the one I want. Okay, hold up. She's not organized. No. And I have never been so... Okay. Actually, oh, it was in the other one. Okay, wait, no, I have it. This, what is this? This is the right one? This is the right one. Okay, I got it. Alright, and I want to drag this over to here. Okay. Alright, might need that later. Okay, and then this one. Okay. Transcript. Okay. Right, and share with others. Anyone with link. Done. Share. Copy link. Okay, that's good. All right, here it is. Boop. And let's do a quick thing for me to feel more happy. We put on a little cute little thing on my face. I don't have anything on my face, so let's fix that. Let's do should do the whole thing as a banana. That's about how great the seriousness of the effort was to make this accurate. This might as well have been a banana. Do I have an ASD one? I don't think I do. I thought I did actually. Maybe I don't. It's an oldie but goodie, realistic freckles. But no, I think I'm gonna do. No, it's too much. Okay, give me a sec. Oh, maybe there is one. Like, let me see if maybe there's like blue ribbon. Let me see. That would be nice to have, like, I don't know, autism awareness. No. No. I don't see it. Yeah, nothing really particular. Okay, hold on. Nope. What on earth do I even have here? I will stop this eventually. Okay, it's fine. You know what? It's fine. Okay. Let's see. So the ADDM network report does indeed reflect higher prevalence, but it does not show that there's an epidemic or a toxic cause. Kennedy cherry picks numbers in historic studies, e.g. from 1987 or 1965 without context. That's crazy, by the way. In 1965, autism was narrowly defined under infantile psychosis, exactly, and often misdiagnosed as schizophrenia, exactly, intellectual disability, or even refrigerator mother syndrome, exactly. In 1987, DSM-3R had only recently included pervasive, developmental disorders, exactly. PDD, which was changed in the DSM-5, by the way. That's no longer there. That's now spectrum. And so is Asperger's, right? So all of that got absorbed. Self-reporting institutionalization, systemic racism, the lack of early intervention services, all radically suppressed recorded cases, exactly. There's also the fact that, we'll get to this part, the guy I will get deeper into this one part, where he says that, oh, where's all the people that are older that have autism, that have profound autism? They're dead, you idiot! Where do you think they are? What do you think happens when they don't have services? When they don't have support? When they get illnesses like other people at different rates, by the way? Some of it just from stress and a lot of it from neglect and abuse. It's just, oh my God. Anyways, it's really bad. Okay, so let me do one last thing and we'll pretty much be ready to go. It's crazy though. Yeah, you were 2013, exactly. They changed it in 2014, exactly. Okay, one sec. I gotta find where this screen is at. Is this the right one? Yes. Okay. Let me do. Now that should be right. Wait, hold on. Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. Okay, I got it. Sorry, y'all. That just took me a second to figure out my bearings. So I should be over here. I don't need that one. Okay, and now I'm gonna add on TikTok people. We'll see how that goes. Let me do advanced filters on this. I want to put a filter on my TikTok face though. Nope, that's not what I want. Okay, not that. Is there filters? I thought you could put filters on. Am I crazy? Maybe you can. Oh no, you can. Okay, let me just put a little filter on. What are my saved ones? I can't even tell the difference, honestly. It's a little brighter. What does that one do? I can't even tell. Hello! Oh my gosh, Waxing, it's so great to see you guys. Okay, so we're gonna go over the whole transcript. I've started streaming on friggin' whatever, TikTok and whatnot, so I've been kind of busy over there. So I'm gonna simultaneously stream to TikTok, so I'm just taking a minute to like figure out how the heck to do that, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Is that... Oh, that makes me a little cuter on the tickety-talkety. Okay, so we got that. All right, I think we're ready to go. So we're gonna go line by line. I'll try to go at a relatively zippy pace. We can all scream together in the chat as needed. Please grab something that you enjoy stimming with and aggressively stim. Like stim in a way that you think RFK Jr. might not like. Like do that kind of stimming. Do the one that you hope he will be disturbed by in his nightmares. Be the stimmer of his nightmares. Yes, scream preemptively, you know, like warm up. Do some, you know, you have to warm up when you sing. Do some warm up screams, like do some sirens, you know. Okay, let me do one more thing. My setup takes a second. I apologize because it's a little annoying. Okay, so let's grab the goddamn transcript, as we like to call it. Boom. Okay, so this is our transcript. I will zoom in. I will also make sure this seems okay on the stream. It looks a little bit off center. I don't need this. Boop. Okay, is that big enough or bigger? We can go bigger. Okay, Kennedy accuses others of epidemic denial, but he's engaged in something far worse, the erasure of an entire population of neurodivergent ancestors. Correct. He frames their absence as proof that autism is new, but it's not absence, it's extinction by abuse. Correct. This isn't an epidemic, this is an awakening. You bet it is. You bet it is. Oh, it is projection, especially with that guy. Oh, if you could have just heard the many speeches that I practiced giving to Congress in my shower today. Much of it was directed at his projection. You sang super surprised. Oh yeah, no, you're. Why am I not at all surprised? That sounds like you. I understand this about your dynamics as a human being. That makes sense to me. Okay, so we got that. Let me drag this into a place they can see it on here. I think probably that. And I think we're good. I think, you know, my Twitch is going to be where it's at for the most part, and some people may be coming through for this other part on another platform, but if they don't, it's not the end of the entire world, because I don't know who wants to explore this, but I know y'all, and I'm glad you're here. And let's get through this together, because this is complete BS. It's dumb, and we don't deserve this. All right, I'm going live on all things. Let me make sure my microphone's on. No, okay, you got that. Let's see. Oh, that should be here. Add. Okay, hold on. Deny device not connected or available. You bet it is. General settings. Hold on a second. Okay. All right. Save. Okay, and then the headset. I don't think I even need it. Thank you for your patience. How's everyone doing, by the way? How's all this crap? Isn't it ridiculous? It's very ridiculous. I have good life things going on. I had my 1-year wedding anniversary on the 15th, which is very exciting. My husband is in the corner eating something. I don't know, popsicle maybe. Anyways, so yeah, so that's nice. Okay, we got everything. Okay, all right, I'm gonna stream to TikTok now. Okay, let's, ooh, hang on. I need the stream title, one sec. God, I'm slow. I love you guys. Yeah, suffering, yeah, it's better if we suffer all together, because especially we need to do some reality testing together, which we have been deprived of in this whole situation. We have had to listen to a narrative of reality that's absurd over and over and over again from multiple sources, and that's just, I think, an assault on our intellect and our good sense and our self-preservation and our ability to like feel motivated about anything because when nonsense is happening, it's really difficult to make some solid predictions about what you should be doing because you're in Wonderland and nobody knows what time it is, and fresh cups, move down. Okay, and let's see how much I can fit up here. I'm going to say RFK Jr.'s cursed transcript as that. Okay, go live. Alrighty, I may say some weird things. So I may have to say things like unalive, because on TikTok you have to speak like a weird 5-year-old. I don't know why. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. So I can't say certain words. I've started to learn their logo and nomenclature. Is logo the right thing? No. What's the right word for that? That's not right. Lingo. There we go. Jargon. Whatever. Okay. All right. Let's get going, everybody. Let's enjoy this crap that we have to deal with one item at a time. This is 20 minutes long if we just played it. I'm going to read it, I think, if that seems reasonable to y'all. And then we'll stop, discuss as needed. We're going to try to get through this as quickly as possible. As I said, I left in all of the weird tics that he has in his speech, and everybody else who are neurotypical people who, as we know, are flawless communicators, unlike us. Oh man, I can't wait to hear how good they are at that. All right, moderator, I think. Human Services, welcome to the press and the supporters of the Maha movement. Great name. Don't you love how it sounds like a Viking who's trying to raid your boat? Supporters of the Maha movement who are here today to listen to Secretary Kennedy and Walter Zahar's, that I don't know if that is that really his name? Hold on one second. Is that how you pronounce this guy's name? Zahar, okay, well, I don't know. Maybe the transcript's wrong, or maybe that person literally said the guy's name wrong. Great start. Remarks regarding the CDC's latest Autism and Developmental Disabilities Monitoring Network survey that was published yesterday in the CDC's Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report. I am honored to introduce you Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I would also like to start with our first note, that this is apparently on autism and developmental disabilities, which is a gigantic range of category of things. I don't know why we are doing both of those and never mentioning developmental disabilities ever again in the entire course of this. How's my volume, by the way? Because I'm going to start screaming. I will be screaming, so I want to make sure that I'm not screaming too much too soon. Haha. All right. Here we go. Perfect. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. begins. I'm going to go over some of the key numbers from the ADDM report. Overall, the autism is increasing in prevalence at an alarming rate. So they have already told us, they have established not only that it's increasing, but the rate of increase. Excellent. I'm sure that will come up again, surely. The study tests 8-year-olds specifically, who were born in 2014. And by the way, these studies are 2 years later than they should be. And one of the things that we're going to do as we move this function to the Administration for a Healthy America to the Chronic Disease Division, the new Chronic Disease Division. So apparently we started off strong. Autism is apparently now a chronic disease. That's news to fucking everyone. That's news to everyone. Hey, what's up, homie? I got one of my people in the TikTok. We're going line by goddamn line. I'm also streaming on Twitch to some of my autistic friends in Twitch, and they are adding some commentary over there that I will read out as we all gradually go crazy together. Okay, so let's go. So Chronic disease. We've been added to a chronic disease. They've studied some 8-year-olds. These studies are 2 years later than they should be. I don't know why that would be. If the studies were off schedule, did that have anything to do with a global pandemic? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, but maybe not. I don't know. Sometimes studies get off for other reasons too. But he doesn't situate that or tell us why that is. He's just criticizing it into the ether. Wonderful. We have one single shred of sanity. We share it like a talking stick, and this is our life now. All right, so we have first thing is a chronic disease, and he's putting it over there, which is a new division. Okay, blah, blah, blah. We are going to have updated real-time data so that people can look at this. Oh, great. So that's excellent. That's really what we want. We're gonna stare at up-to-date real-time data. We're gonna be watching this like the stock market. It's gonna be the autistic market, I guess, or something. Maybe it will crash. Is that what they're trying to crash that too? So Americans can understand what is happening with chronic disease. Yes, that's gone really well. Infographics into a void has really made the population very scientifically literate. Thanks, Instagram. Okay. I understand what's happening with chronic disease. He has labeled it as chronic disease. So we have 2 times. It is now a chronic disease. In this country in real time, which is all right. What, how does he feel about the real chronic disease that we have of long COVID? And I assume we're not going to monitor that ever again. My thing is disconnected. Okay, is my live still working? I hope it is. Okay, I don't care. All right, so in this country in real time and not have to wait 2 years to react. We don't wait 2 years to react to a measles epidemic. Interesting. Okay, because you are causing measles, so we're just going to make a little flag there. And we should not, or AD, or any kind of infectious disease, we shouldn't have to do that for diabetes or autism. The ASD, okay, we shouldn't have to do that. So diabetes and autism are equivalent. Wonderful. Perfect news for me. And infectious disease, it is also apparently similar to an infectious disease. Wonderful. So the ASD prevalence rate in 8-year-olds, specifically 8-year-olds, is now 1 in 31. That is probably not accurate. I was looking at the, hey, thank you. Wonderful, thank you for that. I was looking at my assessor's website.
Welcome to
and he happened to mention, he was talking about masking in boys, and where was that blurb? Let me see if I can find this. Oh, he mentioned this. There's an AI enhanced precision medicine identifies new autism subtype. This is doing groundbreaking approaches to getting into the deep depths of the genetics of it, because it's multiple conditions actually that are under a giant umbrella from different causes, and it's just such a big cluster that it's hard to really separate it yet, and that's what we're going to have to figure out. So so subtyping and all kinds of fun stuff, and they're doing this with all kinds of genetic things. They say genetic complex diseases as well, right? And they think of it as a disease possibly here. I'm not quite sure, but that's okay if sometimes that happens. But this one says autism currently affects approximately 1 in 54 children in the US. And this was in 2020. So did it suddenly become half of that? So it sounds like our numbers are playing fast and loose. And it seems like somebody could sure use a little bit of autism to make them a little bit better at keeping track and caring about stats. All right. And we go back to our goddamn transcript. The ASD prevalence rate in 8-year-olds is now 1 in 31. Shocking if it were true. So I'm going to say that's just false. We're just going to bang that out. There's an extreme risk for boys overall. The risk for boys of getting an autism diagnosis in this country, apparently it is a risk to have a diagnosis, folks. Man, you better watch out. Duck, a diagnosis might hit you. Boy, I wish I knew that it was risky. If I would like to go to the place where that risk is high, because I had to pay a lot of money for mine. And there's an extreme risk for boys overall. Oh, I want to go over here. A new book just came out, The Lost Girls of Autism. Ah, wonderful. Published April 3rd, 2025. Excellent time to publish a book on autism, as it is Autism Awareness Month. Won't someone think of the boys? We're still underdiagnosing girls. Correct. And this person is also a YouTube promoting her book. I'm going to buy her book. She's in England. And I assume they are not losing their entire minds over abject nonsense over there. So I would recommend we spend more time looking at their resources while we wade through this nightmare. Ahem. So he still thinks it's a boy's problem. Blah, blah, blah. So the risk of is now 1 in 20 and as high in California, which has the best data collection. So it probably also reflects a national trend. 1 in 12.5 boys. This is part of an unrelenting upward trend. The prevalence 2 years ago was 1 in 36. So all of this is probably complete and utter BS. If you are tracking some of our traits, potentially, that might be what he's confabulating here together. I don't know if he noticed how socialization was impacted by a global pandemic. So I'm assuming that's possibly why he's making some of these weird inferences that are absolutely not true. That's ridiculous. Okay. Which was 1992 births has increased by a factor of 4.8. Wonderful. Okay, so I was not diagnosed in 1992, was I? Were any of the girls diagnosed that were assessed around that period? Born around that period? Absolutely not. So welcome to that. And what about, again, all the people of color who were not assessed? Okay. Since the first ADDM report in 1990. Also, why do you think it was only in 1990? Could it be that some of this terminology hasn't been around very long and would have been called other things in the past? And there were many other criteria that people would be slotted under, even though if they were autistic or not, that reflected the milieu that they existed in at a different time entirely, when psychology kept changing what things were called. Bloop-a-doop-boo. All right. Factor of 4.8. That's 480%. Homie can do quick math. Brother, man, we did not need that translation. Thank you. I believe the first ADDM survey was 22 years ago. What? Wait, the first report was in 1990 and the first survey was 22 years ago? What? Are these two different things? Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. When maybe he's just a terrible communicator for some reason. Yeah, they suspected Asperger's in 96. Okay, there we go. I believe the first AD, we're just gonna skip that. 1 in 150 children in all the core states. The trend is consistently upward. In most cases now are severe. I doubt this is true. I am very dubious about this. So about 25% of the kids who are diagnosed with autism are nonverbal. Now this is where we're gonna get pissed, okay? First of all, this is very questionable, very freaking dubious. I'm not gonna take that at face value. Are nonverbal, non-toilet trained. So he's talking about 8-year-olds, right? But what age are you talking about here? He was talking about 8-year-olds here, but now he's saying that this is all of them, right? These are all the new cases. So how many of them are how old now? And also, what do you mean toilet trained? Is that what people really say? Or isn't that more what you say about dogs? You mean potty? We say potty trained. That's cute. So we're gonna keep non-toilet trained because this actually is gonna be a phrase he will use again. We're gonna put that one in, I don't know, brown. Okay. And have other stereotypical features. Head banging, tactile and light sensitivities, stimming, toe walking. That's a typo for sure. I also, just for fun, do you know that toe walking is present in other conditions besides? And so is stimming. And light sensitivities also can be caused by other things. And headbanging also can be caused by other things. So just to note that these are disastrous things. We should also make sure all the other conditions that are affiliated with these presentations of behavior will be similarly treated as giant diseases. So many confounding variables. Absolutely. Yes. That's exactly right. There's, yes, there were a few small changes in socialization during the lockdown, maybe a confounding variable. Right. Toe walking is in some other conditions. It is not purely autism. Fact check me on that, but it is true. I don't know which conditions off the tip of my tongue. I have read it before, and I know that it is. Okay, so, one of the things that I think that we need to move away from today is this ideology, interesting choice of phrase, that this is the autism diagnosis, that the autism prevalence increases, the relentless increases, wonderful. We have language that sounds like an onslaught of an invading horde, are simply artifacts of better diagnosis, better recognition, or changing diagnostic criteria. And that's not what we're saying. We're saying it is that and more. So we're going to first say we don't say that it's simply artifacts of better diagnosis, better recognition, or changing diagnostic criteria. We have even more explanations than that. Some of them include us staying alive, being reported because we're alive, which I don't think has always happened. Ha ha ha. Are simply, okay. If you look at the table 3 of the ADM report, it's clear that the rates are real. The rates are real. What an interesting manner of speak. That they are increasing in the last 10 years, by which is the beginning with the first one year by year. There is a steady, relentless again. We are back to relentless increase. I don't know why he's attached to that language. It now seems very intentional. Yeah, cerebral palsy, I did know that one. Muscular dystrophy, among other physical conditions like anatomical anomalies and tight calves and or Achilles tendons. Yes. Yes, so sometimes people do have issues with their arches, and they can't quite get their arches to lift, because that's what your sensory experience of your feet, it makes you like kind of tickle, and it pulls your arch up, and not everybody has the ability to get that engaged. Also, hello to people on TikTok. I am going line by line through the transcript of RFK Jr.'s disaster. I'm over on Twitch as well, so I'm chatting with my my chat over in Twitch, which you can't see. I can try to get it up at some point. They got mad at me because I didn't do something on the live, but I'm not used to this live, so oh well. I am reading RFK, and yeah, we're gonna just destroy it. So it's I'll try to move as fast as I can. I left it without any alterations to his speech. I wanted to make sure I had it pristinely exactly how he said it, since he has a problem with autistic people and how we are sometimes nonverbal. Since he's such a verbal person, I want to make sure that we use all of his words. So if this gets boring because it's 20 freaking minutes long, feel free to dip out. I'm going to try to get through it quickly and just destroy this so that this misinformation no longer plagues people who are neurodivergent and the general population. My thing is not promoted. I wonder if I should have maybe appealed that. It's fine. Okay. All right. I wanted it to this epidemic denial has been a feature in the mainstream media. And so, okay. So he says this epidemic denial. So first of all, epidemic is a very odd word to say, but he's already situated this as a disease, a chronic disease. Do you have that on Substack? Oh, I have a link. It's in a Google Doc. You can even watch me edit it in real time while we go through it. Here you go. I formatted it and put who the speakers are. And as you can see, I lose patience and start labeling RFK with names towards the end. Yes. And I think it's in chat. So hopefully that is good. Okay. All right. Yeah, toe walking, right? Yeah, it really does track, right? Dancers know about that because we are very invested in people's arches being functional. So if you have young dancers, they look to see if there is any issues going on with the activation of the arch and the sensations in the bottom of the foot. So I knew about that from that as well. Okay. Are you recording your video, or it will be on Twitch? Yes, it will be on Twitch, and you can rewatch it. I'm Jane the Message on Twitch. Pretty easy to find. I'm Jane the Message everywhere. It's my rap and music name, so I try to be kind of consistent with that. It's like my public thing. Can somebody in Twitch give me a link? And then you can pop over. No, please. You can pop over there too if you use Twitch. You can meet some of my chatters. They're people I've known for years that are autism spectrum neurodivergent. Can somebody drop me the Twitch link? That would be amazing, just so I'm not getting too discombobulated. Okay, so we have non-toilet trained. Let me get through a little bit more of this, and then it would be lovely to have you over there. And the layout's a little bit nicer too, a little bit cleaner. Okay, so where was he? Okay, epidemic denial, so he situated it as a disease, so that's why we're here, has become a feature in the mainstream media. So just to be clear, the mainstream media has barely known about autism. This is very new that we have any representation whatsoever. Thank you for the link, Waxing. Okay, let me give you the link over there. Seductive tease. Here we go. Thank you so much. All right. Oh, whoops. And let me just put the link in wrong. What is going on here? Hold on. I'm having problems. Did that work? No. Okay, ignore the top part, but the rest of it is correct. Okay. That should be me. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it doesn't... Okay, there we go. Okay, better one. Okay, all right, so... Let's keep going. So, a feature in the mainstream media. So this is not true, and it's based on an industry canard. I don't know what industry he's talking about. A little bit alarming. I don't want to do playback. Let me get rid of this. Hide player. Yep, get out of here. Okay. And I obviously there are people who don't want us to look at environmental exposures. And so now he's going to bring up environmental exposures here. So here is the beginning of this accusation that we are an environmental disease of some kind. And so I want to just read you some of the little excerpts from some of the older studies. That's not very good. The baseline for autism in this country was established with the biggest, largest epidemiological study in history, a study of all 900,000 children in the state of Wisconsin. Children under the age of 12, they found 7%. 7 children had autism in every 10,000. That's less than 1 in 10,000 today. Today we're at 1 in 31. The study also confirmed that the 4-to-1 male to female ratio, there were at that time just over 60 children in Wisconsin with autism, and today it's around 20,000. In 1987, there was another exhaustive study. Oh, so this study must be really old. We don't know when that one was. It must be very old, and we have absolutely no idea when that happened. So that's great. Cool. And then do I need to appeal this thing? Can I still do that? Hold on a second. Let me just see if I can appeal this. 1 second. System. No. I need to figure out how to do that in the future. That's kind of a bummer. Okay. All right. And thank you for following over there too. Okay, so let me try to keep blasting through this. Right, so I want you to just read some of the 4-to-1 male to female ratio. That's not established to this day. No. In 1987, there was another exhaustive study, a peer-reviewed study in North Dakota set out to count every child in the state with a pervasive developmental disorder, including autism. Did it include Asperger's? That study meticulously combed through every record, every diagnosis, and he even conducted in-person assessments of the entire population of, what? 180,000 children under 18? I don't know if that's true, but okay. Under the autism rate they found was 3.3 per 10,000, so that's in line with the 1 in 10,000 that was found in Wisconsin 17 years earlier. For context, that's the last number of 1 in 36 and 83 times higher, 97, 1 in every million. Out of 1 million, every 1 million kids, 330 were diagnosed with autism. Today there are 27,777. Okay, so these are very different conditions, so we're just going to start with that. So not controlling for any of that. Right? So, okay, so we're just going to say he just said a bunch of words and he thinks that this is significant. Good for him. For every million, if you accept the epidemic deniers, which again, you are the first person to introduce this narrative, calling it an epidemic, which you had to establish by calling us having a disease, claiming that we have a disease. you have to believe that researchers in North Dakota missed 98.8% of the children with autism, that thousands of profoundly disabled. So again, you did not establish that they're profoundly disabled children, right? Those are different groups. So we have our first obvious error in his own reasoning. We're somehow invisible to doctors, teachers, parents. So firstly, again, yes, there were a bunch of people invisible to doctors, teachers, parents. Raise your hand in the chat if it was you. I was me. It sounds very implausible. This sounds ridiculous, in fact. And all of this needs to be thoroughly fact-checked because it's silly. But he's conflating groups already. So I don't know what he's talking about. And he's already introduced the idea that most of them are now profoundly disabled, and that's the problem, right? He's going to really harp on that. We're going to see way more language about epidemic deniers now. Yep, because we have a cult that we're dealing with, and they believe anything that the members of the cult tell them to believe. Yeah, but if not neurotypical, then severely disabled. Yeah, so we're basically now working with a bunch of premises that are not tied up appropriately to get to this point. So he says that now we're talking about profoundly disabled children. So his logic says, well, where were all the profoundly disabled children? Well, you didn't specify that they were there. And you didn't really specify that there's any reason to believe that they are the cohort that has really increased in any capacity by showing us these random information that we feel very insecure about even the veracity of. Like, okay, so anyways, we'll just keep going. We're somehow invisible to dog, okay, blah, blah. And even their own study, the same researchers who followed the original cohort for 12 years to double check their numbers, they went back in 2000 and found that they had missed exactly one child. They missed one child? How did they miss one child? So in 2000, is he telling me there weren't any more in 2000? So did he just say that the epidemic rise didn't happen until after 2000? If only one more child was ever found? How did they find the child? What is he talking about? Does this make sense to anybody else? Is anybody else am I taking crazy pills? And found that they had missed exactly one child. So doctors and therapists in the past were not stupid. Nobody said they were. That's a nice fallacy right there. We were saying they had biases and there's structural reasons why they couldn't have, wouldn't have, and had no awareness of the real population distribution. They went on a search and rescue and they found the missing child. I don't know. They weren't missing all these cases. The epidemic is real between 1959 and 1965. Okay, so he says the epidemic is real again. So he tried to prove that, which he hasn't. He did not prove that. And in fact, this isn't making much sense at all. Also, why did they name an entire book The Lost Girls of Autism, My Guy? They weren't missing. Okay. So between 1959 and 1965, researchers from 14 hospitals associated with major universities undertook the National Collaborative Perinatal Project, tracking 30,000 children from birth to age 8. We love age 8 for some reason, which is starting to get weird. This was no half-baked survey-based analysis. The study conducted 9 separate screenings. Cool. Using the tools of 1959 and 1965, which I'm sure are totally up to date. What version of the DSM were we even on at that point? The study conducted 9 separate screenings covering neurology, psychology, speech, language, hearing, and visual function. All of those tests have been updated. We do not use the same version of the Wechsler, even today, from when I was a child. Every developmental quirk. Oh, that's gross. We do not call that a developmental quirk. That's weird language. Anomaly and disorder was logged with painstaking detail. Autism, a condition characterized by profound impairments, false. And false. It's not necessarily profound. It is a spectrum of impairments, not necessarily profound. Yeah, exactly, Waxing. No changes in research at all since then, said the guy with no idea about how actual research is done today or then. All right, in social communication behavior would have stood out like a, what? Autism, a condition characterized by profound impairments in social communication and behavior. Again, all of this is false. It can and does, but not even most of the time is it profound. It's present. Would have stood out like a flashing neon sign. Can somebody tell me when neon signs were even invented? I'm just genuinely curious at this point. Like, were flashing neon signs even like a thing? Barely at that point? Hang on. We're taking a little... We're autistic here. Neon sign invented. When? Oh, 1910. I'm surprised. Okay. So they did have flashing neon signs. That's good to know. Okay. Good to know. All right. So flashing neon signs. There were 14 cases. That's 4.7 per 10,000. So we know that the historic numbers are, so we know what the historic numbers are. And we know what the numbers are today. And it's time for everybody to stop attributing this to this ideology of epidemic denial. Did children used to unalive? You know what? I might give up on the TikTok thing if everybody wants to just pull on over to, who's in here? I think we're just going to give up on TikTok. Screw TikTok because I can't say what I want. Go over to the other one if you're in TikTok. Meet me over there. Okay, so I cuss too much for them. All right. 4.7 per 10,000. So we know the historic numbers. We know what the historic numbers are. Again, you don't. You're talking about multiple groups. And now I get to say what I say. Did children used to die more often, guys? Did they die from things like, oh, I don't know, sorts of things like measles or maybe polio? Could it have been fucking polio? I don't know, guys. Yeah, let's not have vaccines. Da 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 da. Like, I'm so done. Okay, all right. Okay, and before abortion was legal, there's all the other things that happen, and death in childbirth and all kinds of stuff like that. So lots of things that he has not accounted for. Great. Or scarlet fever, or let's see, the Spanish flu, or there's a list. There's diseases we've never even had to deal with. Tuberculosis, that's a good one. That's a fave. You know, one of the greatest hits, tuberculosis. Yes, they buried a lot of children. They did. It is true. They buried so many children. It was very normal. So we know that the historic numbers are, and we know what the numbers are today, and it's time for everybody to stop attributing this to this ideology of epidemic denial. Again, we have him trying to coin terms that a bunch of sycophants will repeat. And it was in 2009, the California state legislature charged the Mind Institute at UC Davis with because this myth was already becoming pervasive, the myth of epidemic denial. Again, these terms don't really flow very well together because this man is not good at language. I'm going to say he's not good at language. Yes, many children went completely undocumented. We were not historically going to track rural areas very well either. We also used to put people into the army where they did not have a choice to not be in the army. And we have learned, tragically, that when you put people with developmental problems in the army, they die. There wasn't even the census during the World War. So much of this doesn't make sense. Becoming pervasive in the mainstream media. So this was not already becoming pervasive in the mainstream media. We have had a long, slow climb to be understood at all in the mainstream media. There is no myth of epidemic denial. Let's just begin there. He made that up yesterday. California, during Autism Awareness Month, California legislature directed the Mind Institute of UC Davis to answer the question, and I don't know what that is, who's a highly esteemed, revered scientist, neurology, and epidemiologist, you mean neurologist, came back with a definitive answer. The epidemic is real. Only a very, very small portion of it can be changed. A better rec can be charged, a better recognition or better diagnostic criteria. I want to say a couple of things. I have no idea what he's saying there. But, you know, he's verbal. I want to say a couple of other things. There are many, many other studies that affirm this. Bullshit. We're just going to go with false. And instead of listening to this canard, we've used this word again. I think that's what was in his word of the day. And he is overusing it. Of epidemic denial. Again, now, first of all, it should be a denial of epidemic or something. Like, epidemic denial kind of implies that the modified word is denial. So you're epidemically denying. Like, there's an epidemic of denying. Right? Not denial of an epidemic. That's like how that usually would go. I don't know if you like spoke English. All you have to do is start reading a little science. Oh boy. I'm sure that's what scientists call it. Reading a little science. Because the answer is very clear. I very much doubt that. And this is catastrophic for our country. All right, let's get into the ableism. Catastrophic for our country. So now we are a catastrophe. Us existing is a catastrophe. There's a recent study by Blackwell et al. And a team of other researchers that said that the... What? So, wait. If it's Blackwell et al. And there's a team of other researchers, why aren't they included in the et al.? Wait, I'm confused. Wait. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that. Okay. Another reason that said that the cost of... No, doesn't know what et al. Means. I don't think he does. Okay, that said that... What? That said that the cost of treating autism in this country by 2035, so within 10 years, will be $1 trillion a year. And here, we're gonna visit... I'm going to give this one a special color. We're going to do bright green. And we're going to go over here. And we're going to go up a bit. Let me get to the one that I want. Okay. So there's a film that the Nazis put out called Victims of the Past. And in this film, they showed disabled children and talked about the problem of disabled children. Which I know about because that's how my great aunts vanished and went to Auschwitz with their school, an orphanage of disabled children. The financing of care for the inferiors is a plundering of German national wealth. And he said... Cost of treating autism in this country by 2035, so within 10 years, will be $1 trillion a year. This is added to an already astronomical healthcare costs. I gave him a word he didn't say. And then there is an individual injury. Autism is now identified as an injury. We are a disease and an injury. These kids, this is a preventable disease. We are a disease. Again, we are a disease that injures kids. New definition of autism. A disease that injures kids. Expensively. We know it's an environmental exposure. Nope. Lie. That's what he believes. It has to be. Genes do not cause epidemics. So here's his logic.
What the fuck?
He thinks it's an epidemic because he says it's an epidemic because it's a disease, and genes don't cause epidemics, is what he thinks. So we're going to put that as a fallacy. I don't remember what my fallacy... Yep. Oh, yeah. They can provide a vulnerability. So your genes can make you vulnerable. You need an environmental toxin. And here we are. Autism is an environmental toxin? Because a disease is caused by a virus in this epidemic thing, like if we're doing epidemiology, this is an infectious disease of some kind is what he thinks it is. So we're being infected by what, right? So toxin, autism is exposure to toxins. Wonderful. I wonder what the fuck a toxin is. And has everyone been detoxed? That's a totally legitimate thing, right? Being detoxed. Those detox cleanses, those are very legitimate, aren't they? Oh, I see. The logic is circular. Yep. Not like there's literally a basic fallacy. No, he just made a claim that he can't support that had all these loose threads in premises that never got addressed again. And then said because he established this thing that he didn't establish, because he said a word, therefore logic of this word that he's still not really understanding the logic of. That's what he did. Most of my family has autism too, Jamie. Does this mention fluoride anywhere? It might. It's probably does. And Irvs Pachota pointed out that because of this mythology, again he keeps calling it mythology, that at this point is not what mythology means. First of all, wouldn't it just be myth? At this point, I mean, I guess you could use mythology, but that's very clunky. It feels like now we're talking about the Greeks, and maybe autism is caused by Athena. At 10 to 20, that the amount of money and resources put into study... What? Oh my God. Pointed out that because of this mythology, a 10 to 20... the amount of money and okay, so 10 to 20 times the amount of money and resource put into study genetics causes, which is a dead end. So he's saying, what? Wait, let me start this again. Okay. Oh my God. Autism is caused by Aries. Okay, let me try to read this sentence one last time. And I'm not even going to try to comprehend it because it's impossible. Because it would have to have something with... Okay, it would have to work for me to be able to do that. Okay. And Irvs Pachota pointed out that because of this mythology, a 10 to 20, the amount of money and resources put into studying genetic causes, which is a dead end, has been historically 10 to 20 times the amount to spent by NIH and other agencies to study environmental factors, to study exposures, to study external factors. And that's where we're going to find the answer. Okay. He's saying that historically, which also is not situated, what he means by that, which history, when, Is it consistent? Did it change ever? Who was it measured by? We knew apparently how other things were being measured in spending. I don't know any of that. It's not how you would relay that kind of information. But he thinks it's something 10 to 20 times. So number out of thin air that I can't pin down to anything. So that's where they're going to find the answer. And that's how science works, by the way. You know what your conclusion is, and then you make the data do that. Right? Isn't that how science works, right? That's what scientists do, correct? Am I wrong? Am I confused about science? Science? So wait, if this is all supposed to be an epidemic caused by exposure to toxins, what are we going to do about all the kids exposed to toxins when we have to spend money on that? Well, God, we better not spend $1 trillion on that. Because that's already the problem with autism. We cost $1 trillion, you guys, to exist. We are $1 trillion. Okay. This is an individual tragedy. I wonder for which individual? Like, are we individual tragedies? All right, so autistics are individual tragedies. As well, autism destroys families. Okay, so I've destroyed my family. Kyle, do you feel destroyed?
No.
Damn it, I'll have to try harder. My mom and dad are also both autistic and right upstairs, happily married for 45 years, something like that. I wonder if two people who destroy families get together, does it like...
It's like negative.
Yeah.
Multiplying negatives.
It's a multiplying negatives, and then you become destroyed.
I can't believe he said all that stuff and nobody went up there and slapped him.
I can't believe that somebody who works at Rutgers University, Rutgers, I can probably say it right, who's his doctor guy, didn't correct any of this.
I thought it was Rutgers.
Rutgers. There we go. Thank you,
I don't
Rutgers.
care what it's called, but
You got it right. I can never say it. Rutgers. Also, they tried to diagnose with BPD, which I have zero symptoms of. They did that to a lot of people. Mostly people that were like, oh, it's a girl. It's BPD. Yeah, so we just don't care about kids at all anymore. Is that the takeaway here? We don't care about autistic kids. That's for sure. They are very similar to what these guys felt about children that were, you know, the weak, the life unworthy of life. You know, we're going in that direction with our kind. And more importantly, destroys our greatest resource, which are our children. So we not only destroy families, we are the destruction of children. So autism is a destroyed child who destroyed their own family.
oh my god.
These are children who should not be suffering like this. All autistic children are suffering like this, and I think suffering like this refers to us being destroyed and destroying families with our individual tragedy. These are kids who many of them were fully functional and regressed because of some environmental exposure into autism. Okay, when they're 2 years old. So apparently at 2 years old, the autism fairy comes and functionally regresses you. That's the autism fairy will not give you money for your teeth. She will destroy your family.
No, you're the one destroying the family.
Oh, right. I'm
She's
sorry.
just giving
She will
you-
destroy me so that I may destroy my family.
She'll make you unable to use the toilet.
And here we're going to revisit our friends in the Third Reich. And these are kids who will never pay taxes. Boom, we're coming back here. Empty shells of human beings. They will never contribute. Healthy people could take their place. That's what the Nazis said. They will never contribute. And when they're gone, healthy people can take their place. And all of that money can go to, there's another line about that. Let me see if I can find it. To the children who are healthy, like all this expense. Tragic drain on resources, unfit to work, empty shells of human beings, genetic impurities, plundering of the German national wealth, better off not being born, implied. So the, very similar. I demand all my taxes back too. We're not only a financial burden, we are not what people should be because we won't pay taxes. And would you like to hear some other exciting things we can never do? These are kids who will never pay taxes. They'll never hold a job. They'll never play baseball. I have been working with people who had baseball injuries in their shoulder that I've been diagnostically working with at a level I shouldn't even be able to do, but I just am autodidactic and was able to do manual therapy on that. But okay. They'll never write a poem. Weird. I've written several of them about autism that I read on stage to people who came up to me afterwards who had autism, who were grateful that I shared it. Also, I would just love to say, does anybody want to hear him read his poetry? Want to take him to an open mic? Okay. My mom's upset. She's autistic too. Don't mind her. She's fine. My mom and dad went to the market today. That's stressful for autistic people. They're fine. Okay. These are kids who will never pay taxes. They'll never hold a job. They'll never play baseball. They'll never write a poem. They'll never go out on a date. Oh my gosh, you guys. What? They're never going to go out on a date. Love on the spectrum. Huh. 2 seasons. A new season's out now? Wait. How's that possible? How could that be? Wait, what is this on my hand? How did this get here? Why, it looks like a ring. I've never been on a date, though. Have I? I can't. I can never date. I'm streaming! I love you! I live with my autistic parents. We're being destroyed by me again. I'm busy destroying my family. Can you hear it? I'm succeeding. All right. Now here's the part that I don't like. Many of them will never use a toilet unassisted. Why is he so into toilets and using the toilet by yourself? And can I just say, Christopher Reeves, Stephen Hawking did not use the toilet unassisted. Super fucking man, thank you by the way, did not use the toilet.
Welcome to this neighborhood, neighbor.
Also, if this goddamn man lives long enough, he will not use the toilet unassisted. And also, there is a very large aisle in every CVS, in every Walgreens, in every Dwayne Reed, or wherever you go, that is adult diapers. I think he is, Guy Yan. I think he is. Also 8 years old. Very into that too. And we have to recognize we are doing this to our children. So we are doing this to our children. So I assume, are we the toxin? So we are doing this. We are doing this to our children. So you are, okay. And we need to put an end to it. So we need to put an end to it, which I'm going to grab that language. I'm going to visit 1930s Germany again, just because the we need to put an end to it line bothers me. Actually, let me go to another one for mine. I put a different thing on my dock. I think it's going to be easier for me to grab it from here. One sec, y'all. It's all worth it. Thank you for being here. We're going to go for probably another hour. I'm going to try to get through this whole stupid thing, but you can see how bad this is. And we will go as long as we can go. This doesn't even really feel like it deserves a response. Like, in some ways, like, to dignify it with one feels beneath all of us, but here we are. So let me find the Nazi propaganda. Oh yes, this one. So the financing of the care of mentally inferior criminals and institutions is a plundering of German national wealth. With these funds, perhaps many healthy, strong, gifted children, which is what America definitely wants. He wants healthy, strong, gifted children, you guys. Which we are never, of our people, could have made some progress in their careers or lives. So we are taking resources from the children that are able to use the toilet unassisted. I also wonder if he doesn't like children who can't use the toilet unassisted in general. Is that like a problem, period? Because he does realize that's not just autistic people, right? And also usually is not. That's very not typical for us to not be able to use the toilet unassisted. That's very, 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 very not typical. I don't even know of a case of that personally. I'm sure there's somebody that has that situation, but that's really, really weird in terms of like standard distribution of our traits. That's not up there. So I'm not sure why he has a problem with people who you turn down Mensa. You are gifted, right? But yeah, the cost of treating autism in this country is $20 trillion a year, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but the other thing is they will never contribute. Healthy people could take their place. Empty shells of human being. And when he said this is a preventable disease, many children regress into autism, the Nazi propaganda said if the reproduction of those with hereditary defects had been prevented earlier, the only difference is that the Nazis blamed the genes and he blames the environment. So they decided to sterilize, and he's decided that we need to change the environment in random ways, I would assume, to try to make us go away. And I believe if eugenics hadn't have already happened, that person probably would have been way more interested in the genes. And they absolutely might sterilize us. Yes, that's possible. They sterilized disabled people. They took them and euthanized them. They euthanized children. They euthanized the children that my great aunts took care of and my great aunts while they were trying to protect them. But don't spend any money on the problem. Yeah, you can't spend $1 trillion because we're already cost $1 trillion. And that is a drain on civilization. So don't spend any money on the problem. That's a really important part. I forgot about that. And I think I'm going to have Walter Zahad Rodney, who is the most senior researcher for this project for ADDM. Okay, well, you appointed him, so it doesn't really matter. And has been doing this for many years to come. To come up and say a little. Okay. So we made it through this thing. Yeah, they murdered them. Oh no, they did. They called it euthanized though. That's what they called it. I'm using their language to be clear about like their propaganda and yeah. Okay. So I want to call attention to this doctor. Did he correct any of that? I don't expect he will. Do you expect he will? Let's see. Well, he didn't stop any of it, so I don't think there's going to be any corrections issued. Good morning. Thank you for being here. I'm here as a long-term autism researcher and a clinical psychologist. I get to wear 2 hats. Neat. One with patients and families, trying to help them get a diagnosis, and 2 interventions and treatments. Cool. What are they? What interventions and treatments exist? I don't know. But also for the last 20 plus years as the director of the New Jersey Autism Study, which all the way in New Jersey, I don't know about that, by the way. It's kind of a small place to be centered in, but I think that's just where he lives. So that's where he likes to be. So because that's where this man is, that's where he studies. I don't know very much about this person. I've never heard of him ever. And I read papers and I read books on this topic, and I have never encountered this person. Which is A CDC-sponsored autism surveillance system. I don't love that. Autism surveillance system? Why does that sound like we're like criminals or something? We've monitored autism in New Jersey in concert with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention since 2000. Okay. Didn't we have a claim about 2000 where they only found one child somewhere else? So 2000, there are no extra autistics in 2000. That's what we're all clear on, I think. That should never be contradicted because there was only one and we found him. When we began our endeavor with CDC, we expected to do maybe 2 or 3 baseline studies to establish how many children have autism, because it was not expected that autism prevalence would increase. So first of all, this is in 2000, so we have a different definition, and he hasn't clarified what he means. We are on the DSM-4. It was a Y2K book. Yes. It probably was, yeah. Maybe all the autistics came from Berenstain Earth. I don't know. Berenstain Earth? Where? I don't know. Because it was not expected that autism prevalence would increase other childhood disabilities. What? Oh, I see. Other childhood disabilities, neurological disorders do not increase or change over time. Interesting. So autism, again, I don't know if he means what we are using in the DSM-5, because there were multiple disorders that have been swapped around since then, either out or in of what he could be talking about. And that's also not, I don't think that's even true. Other childhood disabilities, neurological disorders do not increase or change over time. That cannot be true. Neurological disorders? Childhood disabilities? What about birth defects? What are you talking about? Birth defects don't change. Isn't a birth... What about when people have a drug that causes a birth defect? That causes a childhood disability or a neurological disorder? So that's patently untrue and doesn't make sense. Is he stupid for his position? Like, is he kind of a dumb guy? Is he the dumbest guy at, is it Rutgart? No, you can say right. Rutgart. But somehow, for some reason, with autism, I love that, very dismissive. But somehow, for some reason, with autism, everything was different. Well, I don't know, because the terms were different, dummy, in 2000 versus now, versus what are you talking about? And it's already like a whole cluster of things that we might need to make new categorizations for anyway. Because you clearly don't think I can poop by myself if I have autism. Autism went from being a very unusual, rare disability. Again, different criteria in the other DSM's iterations. And also, it hasn't even existed as a diagnosis for like 100 years, like or something, somewhere around there. I forget the exact number, but it's somewhere around there. It's like, this isn't that old. Which affected, as the secretary said, 1 child in maybe 10,000. Again, children also were a little rarer at the time because they died. To being known in every community, every school district, okay, so I was in the school district when they didn't know I had autism. I hope they don't understand that. Every center that cares for children with disabilities, autism is real. It's a true disability. It is a disability, sure. It is real. We're good with that. It's not a personality. I mean, that's an odd... That sounds like he's informing a room of people who don't know autism from a wad of chewing gum. Yeah, what's happened to the average primary school class size over the years? Oh, by the way, yeah, good freaking point, by the way. What's happened is it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, so that you will have a kid in every class that has that, because we've bloated the class sizes. Duh. That's a really good point, amongst many points that could be made. We're not even making all the good points that could be made. This is ridiculous. We just are like moderately invested in knowing this well and can pick it apart because it's not hard. Okay. It's not a personality, a quirky issue, Both of these men like to say quirky, which I don't love. Very manic pixie dream girl. I'm streaming, Dad. Hi. Thank you. What do we get? Oh, thank you. Ooh, we have oranges.
The sushi might be.
Okay, thank you. I have sushi. My dad got me sushi. He's autistic. He's making sure that it destroys me. Okay, to being known in every community, every school district, and every center that cares for children with disabilities, which again, there's not very many of them, by the way. Has that number changed? And was that number once institutions that were closed down in the 80s and started to be closed down in the 50s and 60s? And wasn't his homie's aunt in an institution because they lobotomized her? Better check Jane's mercury levels. Destroyed. Man, we got to get enough destruction in or I won't have autism anymore. That it wasn't identified in communities doesn't mean it didn't exist. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Correct. Very well said. That sounds like somebody who can do basic fallacies. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Everything has changed for the individual with autism. Oh, we're about to figure out a definition of an autism. Okay, what's autism? Everything has changed for the individual with autism. So apparently, you guys, there was a time when we didn't have autism, when things could have changed. So in order for change to occur, you have to have one state that is different than another state. So when did we become changed? Where everything changed for us? I wonder how that works when you have a neurodevelopmental disability that starts before you're even like remotely born. And while there's a wide range of expression, oh, that's fun. So here's the rest of us guys. Hey, are you a wide range of expression? Are you while there's a wide range of expression? Capitalism causes autism. Why not? I mean, capitalism makes autism stand out more because capitalism is very destructive to autistic people. So we're mad. Exactly. Without capitalism, we were just cool. Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with you. I like your point. Yes. Basically, yes. You have to label us because we don't go along with it. They're like, they're not helpful and useful. I'm like, why? Because we're not sociopaths? We're not neurotypical people that believe sociopaths? Uh-huh. Maybe you should listen to some of us sometimes. I don't know. I mean, it's not going really well with you guys not listening to us. I've noticed. Have you guys noticed? You seem to be starting to notice. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've been complaining about this, like, even on this Twitch stream for, like, 5 years? On and off? I don't know. It does change the family. Oh, it doesn't just change. Ooh, is the definition of change destroy again? Is that what we mean by change? Because we remember that it destroys the family. We already know how it changes the family. It destroys it. And it does inevitably change the community. Oh, does it destroy the community too? Is that how that works? So it changes the community and the society in which we find it. Okay, so we change society in a way that is bad. Boom. And that is very similar to the beliefs of the Nazis. Weeds must be removed to promote what is valuable. And they believe it happened because they terribly sinned against the law of natural selection. We have terribly sinned against the laws of natural environment, I guess. Great. Very cool. All right. Yes, it is useless waste of resources. That is definitely it. And that is also what Nazis explicitly thought. Yeah, I like wide range of expressions better than listing off a few stereotypes. I agree with that, but also the creepy thing is it's very thrown away. That almost feels like him throwing the bone, like he's trying to get ahead of his what's the word I'm looking for? Detractors. And say like, well, I do acknowledge that you guys are also autistic. I didn't say that you didn't also count as autistic, even though all the stats way up here don't make any sense and I don't really delineate where you are, and I let him go and do that the entire time. And we don't know who we're talking about in any of these things, since also the diagnostic criteria changed and we haven't specified that at all. Right? That's what he's doing. Yeah. Anyways. We're autistic because they made God angry. Yeah. I am positive that is what the MAGA people think too, by the way, because they are a religious cult. So we can see where this is going. Autism prevalence has increased very dramatically. Again, you haven't controlled for it. It's increased in New Jersey, which again, yeah, okay. Where we have excellent resources. I don't know if I fucking believe you. I've been to New Jersey and I don't think that's true. I'm going to call bullshit on that one. And access to services. The services aren't good enough. The ADA needs to be reformed and has needed to be reformed. I wrote a bill for its being reformed in the future because we do not have lifelong dynamic services that make sense based on what we actually need. That is bullshit. And it's increased in all the states in the network. I don't know which states those are. It's increased not only by the CDC ATOM network active surveillance activities, but it's increased according to federal statistics and information from a multitude of studies. It is a true increase. Okay. Again, how much? You did not back up the increase cited by ya boy. So I'm doubting that that's true. Prophets are absolutely autistic coded as fuck. We are also amazing witches in caves, old men on mountains, and people that live on the edge of the wood. There is a better awareness of autism, but better awareness of autism cannot be driving a disability like autism to increase by 300% in 20 years. Okay, so it's increased by 300%. So wait, wasn't there just hold on, guys. We got a timeline. 2000. Remember 2000? I remember 2000. That's when we found one extra autistic person. There are now 30 autistic people. That's a 300% increase, right? 300? Or no, there's 300. I'm sorry, 300. I did that wrong. Yeah, there's 300, right? 300? Did I get that right? I'm trying to get this right. Yeah, that's a big increase. If there's one, that's got to be 300. 100 means a 2. No, yeah, there's 3 autistics? Oh, there we go. Oh, wonderful. That's even better than I thought. So there's 3. I'm not good with percentiles, so I will allow you guys to do that. 1 is 2. Yeah, so we have 3 autistics, you guys. Damn it. Shit. I hope they found them. All 3. That's what we saw in New Jersey. That's what the CDC report of yesterday indicates. And that's what, in my opinion, future reports from epidemiologists, which again, I don't think that's what we would use. But he's saying it's a disease. So we are classifying it as a disease. So now we will be followed by epidemiologists, I guess. Do epidemiologists typically also look at autism? Maybe I am just used to, I guess they could, right? Maybe that's true. I don't know that. We'll show the data provided in yesterday's report strongly suggests that not only is this a high point of autism prevalence, but in the future rates can only be higher for some reason. Great. Autism deserves to be treated as a real public health phenomenon. I don't know what that means. Do you mean a threat? Is it bad? Like phenomenon could be good or bad. I'm not an expert, but I don't think so. I don't know either, right? Yeah, and I would say is an urgent public health crisis. Okay, cool. So we are a health crisis. Great. We're sick, I guess, and we're destroying the public health of other people by being $1 trillion expensive. all three of us or something. I don't know. Yeah, 300%. I gotta fix my percentage language. Well, is that a disability? Where is that even coming from? I don't know. Anyways, it's not just that we're more astute or perceptive. We don't think it's just that. It's not like it's not like 2 or 3 children. I thought there was just 3. Okay. Out of, for everyone with autism has remained invisible. What? It's not like it's not like 2 or 3 children out of, 4. Everyone with autism has remained invisible. I mean, I was not seen until 2019. Autism is striking, and the consequences are lifelong. Okay, so we are... Okay, can we say that the consequences of, like, autism or something, or neurotypicality are lifelong? Like, this is a very weird way. Like, okay. We're a disease, so I guess that's fine. So is autism always striking, or is we had a spectrum? I thought, did he say there was a range? What did he call it? I thought we had a range. A wide range of expression, but it's striking. And striking is bad. So autism is bad because it's striking and the consequences are lifelong. So if you'd like to know what autism does, people notice it because it's striking, and you will notice it because the consequences are lifelong, like smoking. Okay, so yeah, epidemiology tracks trends and shifts in populations of all kinds, so maybe. Okay, he's more informed than RFK Jr. for sure. So that's reasonable that he got something more reasonable to say out of his mouth. So I would urge everyone to consider the likelihood that autism, whether you call it an epidemic, a tsunami, rad, weir, water, okay, or a surge of autism is a real thing that we don't understand. Okay, so you say it's a real thing that we don't understand. So he's saying that they understand autism somehow, even though we haven't clarified what we mean by it, and it could mean several things according to how it's changed over time and how they've been using it in this entire presentation. But it's real that there's a surge of it. So we don't understand why there's a surge, and the surge is real. Okay. Or a tsunami. I'm going to go with tsunami. I think we should be a tsunami. Can we be typhoons? Yes. Let's be striking. Let's be lightning. Can we be like a super squad and we all get to be different elements? That would be also cool. I would like to be maybe fire. Yes, autistic people are mentally challenged and unable to keep track of 5 or more things at a time. They need to be given stimulants to make them normal. It's a lifestyle struggle. Yeah, they have caffeine every single day. Every day. They have entire drug dealer establishments that play jazz everywhere. I don't know why it's always jazz, but it has something to do with their entire experience of the drug. Okay. We'll spit straw straight through would be. That's perfect. I love it. Okay. It must be triggered or caused by environmental or risk factors. Okay, so it must be triggered or caused by environmental or risk factors. So autism is not considered genetic variation. It is something that has a risk factor, similar to, I suppose, how my dad had green eyes, which was a risk factor for me having green eyes. Is that how we now do genetics? So he says it must be triggered or caused, which I think is like the same thing. If he means triggered, that's sort of suggesting he means genetics, but I thought we were eliminating that kind of in some way. I don't know. We need to address this question seriously. I mean, you haven't started. Nothing about this is serious. You've got to be kidding me. Because in my opinion, which is worth absolutely nothing, for the last 20 years, we've collected data, but not made real progress in understanding what causes autism. Well, you don't even know what the fuck it is. So that might be why. And yeah, or how to effectively prevent it or treat it effectively. Why would you want to prevent it? Unless you mean specifically this thing where you want certain issues with it. Would they have a, okay, question. Would they have a problem with me still existing if you could make sure that I could talk and poop? Can I still be autistic as long as I'm not what? What part? Because I'm still autistic too. So what part of me did you need to effectively prevent? Was it effectively prevented? Good question, right? Like I still have autism, but the other stuff didn't happen to me. So something must have happened in my environment because it's caused by environmental factors, right? So the only way I could possibly not have a more severe form of autism, because it's not genetic, right? Remember that. So there's nothing that protected me in my genes, particularly. Was it treated? Was my autism treated? And that's why I can be verbal and can, I guess, am toilet trained. Yeah, there's no way that these studies are showing a strict correlation. Absolutely not. That's already been debunked anyways, but it's also just silly. But yeah, so so you have to prevent it or treat it effectively. So lots of good questions, right? Like, am I a satisfactory outcome of an autistic is the question. Are you? Are any of us? And if so, shouldn't they study us to see what prevented it being worse? Or what we were treated with? I was really into ring pops. So that should be factored in. There was a lot of ring pops. So I urge you to read the report very carefully. Oh boy, is it ever. In fact, he's doing so much heavy lifting that I think it's probably going to like rupture a disc. So I urge you to read the report very carefully. Oh, I will. I will, and I will be sending this to my assessor and ask him to read it very carefully too. If you know anyone that is an expert in autism, please have them read it very carefully. This is important. Yeah, what was my cure for being able to poop alone? It's hard to say, isn't it? I think we should really study me and my pooping. I urge you to do something that nobody does. Ooh. And go into the many supplemental tables. Oh, I will. If nobody goes into the many supplemental tables, like, how does research even work? Like, how did you rely on all this other research if nobody goes into the supplemental tables? Just curious. Since those are often included in research papers, which you guys are relying on to do this and stuff, and then other people relied on to establish their research papers and meta-analyses and stuff like that. So, like, if nobody ever reads the supplemental tables, then did you just say a damning statement about all research that you're relying on? It's a weird move. And see that autism is a true phenomenon. Okay, once again, I don't know what the hell you mean by that. He's probably means shorthand for like the number of autism changing in the way that they're suggesting is the true phenomenon, but he's not very good at keeping track of his subject that's being modified here. So he goofed at talking again. And that we need a correct perception, not a perception that allows us to just provide services, which again, they are not what we need, and autistic people are fucking pissed about it. I don't know where he's been. Without understanding the root causes or the true factors. So there's false factors, don't forget that, guys, and that's our genes. And we don't understand the root causes, and he still thinks it's a disease because it's not genes. At play. So thank you for your attention. I wish we could answer questions. I think we can. Kennedy is now going to grab a shovel. let me just say one other thing. I referred to a number of studies. There are many, many, many others in the scientific literature, as if, okay, that felt redundant, that absolutely explode this mythology. Again, he likes the word mythology, so we're back to that. Something that scientists say all the time. We're going to explode it. Is that because, what are we, tornadoes or something, or tsunamis? Yeah. I'm ready to be a fireball. That this is that the autism, I do not know, bro. The autism epidemic, again, he's trying to ingrain that language. This is almost hypnotic at this point. Did he learn that from Trump? Is not real. Again, define real at this point. If you read the literature, it is absolutely indefensible to continue to promote this, but it doesn't take you to read the literature. It just takes a little common sense. Okay, so we don't actually have to read the literature that he gave or the many supplemental tables, because we can just use a little common sense. Dope. If the epidemic is an artifact of better diagnostic criteria or better recognition, then why are we not seeing it? I love this part. In older people. Why is this only happening in young people? I asked Walter before we came out here. Somebody prepped a little late for this. I said, have you ever seen, did he have this thought on the toilet, by the way? Like, why did he have to tell him this right before this? This is an epiphany he had while pooping, I think, because he's really into pooping by himself. I said, have you ever seen anybody our age, I'm 71 years old, pooping by myself, with full-blown autism? Okay, we have a new kind of autism, you guys. You know how I said there's like subcategories that we're going to refine? We got a new one. Full-blown autism. Dope. That's the one where you can't poo-poo without someone helping you, and you've never poo-pooed by yourself or peed. You're not toilet trained. Can I be full metal autism? I think I'm going to be full metal autism. Head banging. Oh, we're back to here. Nonverbal, non-toilet trained, stimming, toe walking, these other stereotypical features. He says it again. We're back here. The kind of is made at the glass factory. Absolutely. We are a vase. Where are these people walking around the mall? Also, beautiful, beautiful place to situate that. Hey, Autistics, who likes going to the mall with all of its fluorescent lighting and people and echoes and what? Sound, music everywhere. When they do, wasn't there a thing showing like what it's like to be an autistic person? There was like a POV of an autistic, and it was a kid having a meltdown in a mall. That's where they decided to situate that and make a version of what it's kind of like for us. Yeah, and the perfumes. I forgot about the perfumes. The scents. Food court, but also perfumes at the same time. Put pretzels next to perfumes, and I will dissociate. You can't find them. You can't find them at the mall, you guys. I want to play, isn't there like a Mallrats song by Frank Zappa's daughter? Anyways, okay. You can't find them. They're not in homes. There are no homes for them. Yeah, what are you talking about there? Okay. There are no institutions. So do you want to bring back institutions, by the way? Question mark. For them, why are we seeing them on the street? So do you think we're all going to be in institutions? Is that what's going on here? What is happening here? Why are we seeing them? Why are we seeing them on the street? Anybody can look around and see that this is a canard. So he's saying he doesn't see any of them. Again, I want to go back to this. You're 71. A lot of people with autism don't make it to 71, you idiot. We have a super high suicide rate. We have super high issues with health problems because doctors dismiss us the entire time, and we have a few other health concerns that have been marginalized that probably could be taken care of and prevented. We have a bunch of preventable deaths that are still continuing to today, but were much worse decades prior. We should build our own institutions, and they should be centers. We should have centers that we are engaged in lifelong. It's in my bill. You know? Does he expect people to be... I don't know. Okay, so lots of things. Lots of things are wrong with this. So many things are wrong with this. It also assumes that they'll be walking at that point. When we have a high comorbidity with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and that can put you into a wheelchair. Oh, yes, I will give you the bill. Let me... I actually have a... Oh, go on my TikTok. I read it out loud. On one of my pinned ones, it's the middle one. I think it's either there's two where I'm wearing glasses. There's one where I go over my story of my aunts. Also would recommend watching that, but it's in there, and then I will also send it to you. In fact, I will link it in the chat in a second. I'll just link it in the chat. I'll just give it to you guys. Give me a sec. I'm going to do that right now, actually. Okay, I'm going to go over here. Yeah, of course. My pleasure. Let's go. Where's my bill? CV. I got a new job, you guys. I'll tell you about it soon. I'll tell you about it when I get it, like, totally situated. But I'm going to be working with... well, it's really cool. Maybe I'll tell you at the end. Okay. Where is it? Let me go to bill. ATIA cover and summary. ATIA. Here you go. Copy link. All right, here you go. Boop. And please enjoy. I don't care if my email's on screen. Nobody cares. We're all used to the internet now. We don't give a shit. Whatever. Okay. Do we have prevalence rated of autism per country and Eastern Western comparison? Nope. New Jersey. Just New Jersey, I think. I think we're just doing New Jersey right now. Jersey Shore. Yeah. Okay. You can't find them. They're not in homes. There are no homes for them. There are no institutions for them. I thought we had services or something. I don't know what's going on with that. Why are we seeing them on the street? Anybody can look around and see that this is a canard. Again, his word of the day. He said it 3 times, you guys. I think he has a word of the day calendar at home, and we got really fucking unlucky with this one. And then you have to ask yourself, why is it so pervasive? Why has been thrown up against us for so many years? And clearly there are industries this is coming from. So he's blaming a shadow industry for manufacturing us. We came from Autism Incorporated. Cool. So you have to ask yourself, why is this so pervasive? I don't know why he had to ask himself this. Why the fuck does he hate us? Do you ever wonder that? I super do. Why the fuck has he been walking around trying to do Where's Waldo for autistic adults? The fuck, bro? And again, he's like, oh, goody, I don't see any. Bitch, they're dead. Bitch, they're dead. The ones you're not seeing are fucking dead. And you're like, hooray! Which takes me back to, who do you remind me of? Oh, right, the Nazis. Who do you remind me of? Oh, yeah, the Nazis. Wants to know who to hate, I guess. Yeah, I mean, all right. This is, okay, there are industries this is coming from. An environmental toxin. So it's an environmental, not only is it a toxin, it's an environmental toxin. I don't even know why we're doing that word together. Okay. And somebody made a profit by putting that environmental toxin into our air, our water, our medicines, our food. And it's to our benefit to say, oh, that to normalize it is to say, oh, this is all normal. It's always been here. So it has to be in the air, water, medicine, and food. So autism is a disease that is in food, medicine, water, or air. Dope. So we're going to have to compare the water, air, medicine, and food of other places to us, and especially New fucking Jersey. Yeah, 100% green man's. Yeah. And it's to their benefit to say blah, 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 blah. And that's not good for our country. So autism is, another definition of it, not good for our country. Definitely. Fucking New Jersey. And it's really not good for New Jersey, you guys. Can you just think about New Jersey? 300% more not good for your country walking around in New Jersey. Except they're not walking around because they're 8 or something and can't poop or something. I don't know. I don't know where they are. Are they at the mall? I'm so confused. Are the children... Does he walk around and look at children at the mall? You guys? He's saying he's not seeing the adults at the mall. Is he watching the children at the mall? Because he must be, right? Because he's saying he's not seeing the adults. But the children are there. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. walks around malls looking at autistic children, stimming, headbanging, not being toilet trained, and not being verbal. That is his hobby. It's kind of like bird watching, but from hell and insane. Yeah, let's convince them that the PFA is causatism. So they'll ban them entirely. Oh my God, I just fixed it. Let's convince them that, wait for it. Crypto and coins and paper money and checks cause autism. No? I feel like that would be like elegant. Okay, all right. It's not good for the press. What? But that's not good for our country, and it's not good for the press to not be more inquisitive. That's one way of putting what this is. To not be more skeptical. Of what? I don't know. And within 3 weeks, and probably we're hoping in 2 weeks. Oh boy. Oh guys, we have a deadline. Oh boy. What's going to happen in 3 weeks? What fresh hell? Hoping in 2 weeks, we're going to announce a series of new studies to identify precisely. Oh boy. So they're going to have a new series of studies that are going to identify precisely what the environmental toxins are, because they are definitely environmental toxins, which we've established before we could establish it, which is how you do research. You make your conclusion, and then you make all of the data fixed in place where it should be within a set amount of time. That is how research works. Yeah, right? Did I describe research correctly? I think that are causing what the environmental toxins are that are causing it. So it's definitely environmental toxins. Didn't we have a different factor at one point? We lost that one. We lost an environmental. No, wait. We have the environmental. Sorry, we have the environmental toxin. We lost another one. There was some other. Oh, who cares? It doesn't matter. We got to where we wanted to get to. That's how science works. Just make your conclusion and ram it in there. They'll have the new study done by October, right? Oh, yeah, that's right. They're going to fix it by my birthday. I can't wait. Okay. This has not been done before. I wonder fucking why not. I'm sorry, I just hit my head. Sorry, I was headbanging, I suppose. Is that what that was? This has not been done before, and we're going to do it in a thorough and comprehensive way, whatever the fuck it is. And we're going to get back to and with an answer to the American people very, very quickly. Excellent. Okay, I bet that will be... Can we stop this before this has to start? Okay, so let's keep looking through this. So we have some questions. We have some Q&As, guys. We almost made it. We almost fucking did it. I don't know, like, if this was a drinking game, we would all be in the hospital, but that's okay. any drinking game we could make out of this, we would already be at some sort of like liver toxicity. We would not be okay. Let's go. Unidentified attendee. Yes. Oh, this one's going to be interesting. I was not diagnosed with autism in 92, I think, when I missed, and it took me 5 years, when 192, I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. The transcript isn't perfect. And it took me 5 years to get diagnosed later. You also talked about the fact that the numbers increased with Black and Latino people, but your own study says these findings may indicate that improvements in ASD awareness, identification, and access to services and communities among Black and this is a really bad transcript here. Black and I think they're still Latino and children have improved. Do you think they're probably nervous. Actually, this is what it looks like to me. That you denying that in the past, Black, Latino, and AAPI people have not been diagnosed. They've been diagnosed with behavioral disorders. They've been disciplined. They've been incarcerated, and now they're finally getting the services that they need. Great question. Whoever this was, I'm proud of them for standing up as an autistic person to this. RFK Jr. Well, yeah, and there are small slivers of the autism epidemic, maybe 10% to 25%, according to the study's highest studies, are around 25% that can be attributed to better recognition and better diagnosis. That means 85% or 75 to 80% are part of an epidemic, and that's too many. That is too many autistic. Again, not specified which kinds. So he says 75 to 80, what? So that's not right. That's fine. Shouldn't that be 90%? Okay, he's not good on, I can do that kind of math. We are something. We might be criminals. We're everything. We are pretty much all the bad things all at once, as far as I can tell. We are not supposed to be here, I guess, or something. So I think I am a small, who here is a small sliver? So I must be a small sliver. And this book about the lost girls of autism is also a small sliver. Because we're skinny. We're ladies. We're so svelte. That's what it is. We're watching our figure. We're the scapegoat for all the ills. Yep. If they can pin it on us, we are the donkey. Oh my gosh. All right. So we know that there's too many. We don't actually have a specification of what kind of autistics those are. It's just too many. What I want to know, if it was 85% and it was all people like us, would that still be too many? That question is not answered here, is it? Anywhere in the body of what we've read or implied in subtext, right? Am I correct in that? I'm trying to be charitable, but it's hard. And that is what we need to address. Walter, do you have something you'd like to add? Dr. Ding Dong. There's better recognition of autism and better awareness because there are more children with autism. Nope. I was a child with autism that didn't get recognized until I was an adult. So what the fuck are you talking about? And the professionals have greater reason to learn from what they're experiencing. Like fucking me, maybe? I don't know. What professionals? The professionals? Which fucking professionals? It's a lifelong condition. And if we aren't caught as children, wouldn't there be other professionals talking to us? Putting us into that big chunk of data that you're not delineating very well, even though you guys are supposed to be extremely intelligent compared to us autistics. And that's the problem. We just don't contribute. We don't have jobs. God, don't you wish you had a job? Look at how good jobs look when they are doing them. What a good job they're doing, you guys. Yeah, or even like the person who asked the question. Great question. Yeah, they should have had a follow-up. Like, who the fuck are you talking about? Me? Is there too many? Am I too many? And to diagnose, I wish the contrary was true. You wish the contrary was true? So you don't want the professionals to learn from what they're experiencing because there shouldn't be us. So you've clearly said right fucking here, you wish there were less of us. But it's not like better awareness pushes something that's not there. Rather, something that there is being recognized. What the fuck did that even mean? But it's not like better awareness pushes something that's not there. Rather, something that's there is being recognized. That was a dumb sentence, and I don't give a shit about him right now. Amanda Sates, Associated Press. Secretary Kennedy, can you please say your first and last name? Okay. They said that to her. An outlet before asking a question. By the way, my name is Garcia at the Independent. I don't know what happened there. Thank you. Secretary Kennedy, Amanda Sates with the Associated Press. Some of the CDC's own research has concluded that there's a genetic link at play with autism. I think it's something, 80 to 90% heritable. Most of the time, that's what people find. I know it can be found as high as 90. I'd rather the problem go away and for people to stop talking about being autistic. Yes, that appears to be it. We all love our old lady friends. Thank you for being a friend. Da, 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 da. Has concluded there's a genetic link at play with autism. Are you saying today that you don't trust that research or that it was wrong? Could you expand a little bit more on that? RFK, whatever. No, there is, we have really good genetic markers now. Not exactly. Not exactly. And they provide a vulnerability. But those genetic markers alone are not going to dictate your destiny. Dope. So it doesn't work as genetics. It works more like he thinks it's a disease. Cool. So what I don't understand about that is so I have celiac disease and I have one of the genes for it, right? So I was a potential celiac before some shit went down, okay? And then my genes were able to express. So what makes the gene express is the toxin? And then, okay, so here's the thing about that, okay? If you have a gluten intolerance and you don't have the genes, you don't have celiac disease. You have a different gluten allergy that's not being attacked by your autoimmune system. So what is the agent in the disease? What in me, is it my autoimmune? Is he saying it's an autoimmune problem? Because that's closer to what he would be accidentally describing here. Now I'm out. What the fuck? Epigenetics is woke now. Yeah. You need an environmental toxin. Okay. Why not a virus? If it can be in the air, why the fuck is it a toxin? Why the fuck is it a toxin? Can we ask that seriously? Is this just like a random modernity is bad thing? I don't even know. I mean, then there are many genetic markers that dictate the methylation capacity of the human body? Oh no. I did not know we were going here. Those contribute to those dictate, listen, with many people smoke cigarettes and only 1 in 5 died from lung. Okay, autism is lung cancer, guys. Update. What is autism like? Lung cancer. He's looking for the cigarette that causes autism. Lung cancer. We are cancer. Yes, we're a cancer. Ah, that feels great. Okay. There were 4 of them that didn't, and those were the ones that had, what? What the fuck? 4 what? Oh, he's talking about we're back on cigarettes? What? Wait, what? 1 in 5 died from lung cancer. There were 4 of them that didn't, and those were the ones that had some circumstances, probably genetic, that made them more susceptible to it. And then the same is true. We know that the glutathione production, and glutathione is an enzyme that helps the human body excrete metals. I'm going to put the poop highlight for that one too. Do they excrete metals alone, or are they not potty trained? And toxins. People with low glutathione production are more vulnerable. People with the MTHFR gene, which dictates methylation, are more vulnerable. People with high testosterone are more vulnerable. So there are a lot of genetic vulnerabilities. You need an environmental toxin. Okay, so he thinks that testosterone makes you more vulnerable. That's probably how he's explaining boys having it more, even though it's a childhood, like, present, lifelong, before we have a lot of exposure to testosterone. Did he do this with people with abnormalities in testosterone? The hell is going on at this point? Why the fuck are we talking about glutathione? Thione? I don't even know what the fuck that is, to be honest. A pox, a plague, a blight. We are all of those things. Okay. Can I add one more thing? This is just not how things work. And I don't understand. Okay. Okay, well, let's keep going. Okay, Fox News, you ready for some bullshit? Alex at Fox. Alex, hi, Alex Fox. In seeking out an environmental toxin, do you feel that if one or several are detected or put on your radar, do you think it would be the same one causing issues at both ends of the spectrum? Children who struggle with, let's say, oh boy, we're going, oh God, I'm scared of this. All right. Who struggle with, let's say, sensory issues. So there's both ends of the spectrum, guys. I'm trying to. Both ends of the spectrum. Do we neurotypical people, everyone, children who struggle with, let's say, sensory issues, by the way, because there's no adults, all the way to those who are fully care dependent, unable to speak. That is not the fucking same thing. You can be unable to speak and not fully care dependent. Would it be the same catalyst in all of those varying conditions, you think? And his dad was a better person, said, well, those are the kind of studies we're going to do. And you're right. There's a spectrum of injuries. He's right about what a spectrum means too, I assume. That must be what he thinks. A spectrum of injuries. Great. We have been injured. So I am injured, you are injured, and we are not as injured as these fine gentlemen who are pristine. Perfect, in fact. Ubermensch. Hey, let's not assume this strength is neurotypical. That's fair. They are not autistic, that's for sure. These definitely are not autistics. These might be sociopaths. And in fact, by might be, I'm going to wager all of my not money I have, because I don't have a job apparently, even though I just got a job. Can I tell you what my job is right now, since I don't have one? I'm going to be the lead professor for the dance department at a college, specialized liberal arts college education for disabled people. Anyways, I don't have a job though. Because of my injuries. It's not a real job. I know. I'm very, very, very excited. I'm very, very, very excited. I'm very proud. And yeah. Jen, this is in line with internal. I just don't think he is. He doesn't read as autistic to me. I think he could have another issue, like learning disabled. Sure. He doesn't clock as autistic to me. This is not somebody that seems to be super interested in things. I mean, he's done a lot of drugs. So maybe like because he's been on, what has he done? Has he done meth? He's done heroin. I don't know. So if his brain is like Swiss cheese and didn't like worms eat it. So there's something, he does not have a normal brain anymore for environmental factor reasons. Some of his environmental factors are definitely at play with why he's so weird. But I don't really see striking evidence that he's autistic. But he certainly could be self-hating, internalized ableism. I agree. I think that's likely. But I would guess he's more of like the learning disabled variety and has some other thing going on. Yeah, he has a brain worm. I do not hold that against him. No, yeah, exactly. I was infected by the book. Yeah, I mean, first of all, I would love to have a good conversation about traumatic brain injury. Can we start to destigmatize that, please? That would be dope. Whether it be from blunt force trauma, gun violence of some kind, infectious, parasitic, anything. You know, there's all kinds of ways that the brain can get injured. And we don't take it very seriously, including, might I add, American football? Like, why are we still doing that to people? We're giving them concussions. That's not good. Okay. I do hold that against him. He ate yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I don't. He ate dog meat? I'm done. Okay. He's, again, that feels like sociopath to me. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't that vibe with sociopath? I don't know. Okay. And we just know, there are studies that, you know, that look at maternal activation so that something happens in the womb. There are studies that look at other, okay, so maternal activation. So something happens in the womb. Dope. Another cause of autism, I guess, is the environment of the womb. So we have to monitor women. Gilead. There are studies that look at other genetic causes. The issue that we know is genes don't cause epidemic. Fucking hell! His logic is so dumb. The issue. Genes don't cause epidemics. You are calling it. That doesn't even fucking make sense. No. First of all, wrong. Second of all, no. You didn't establish that, and it's not true. You just said, I think I'm going to call this an epidemic and say that genes don't cause epidemics, and this is an epidemic, so genes don't cause epidemics. Can somebody make this logic tree? Because it would be so fucking stupid to even bother doing it. But it would really show how this doesn't make any sense. If someone could formalize this one, that would be fabulous. Fucking hell. You need an environmental toxin. Why? Because reasons. Because he has a hard-on for environmental toxins. And we're going to look at all the potential culprits. Good. Awesome. There's going to be a lineup of environmental toxins. The fucking boogeyman that makes us have a spectrum of injuries on both ends of the spectrum. We're going to look at mold. Oh, fucking hell. So it's caused by mold. Great. So let's get a new highlight color. Let's go with, I don't fucking know or care anymore. Let's do, what haven't I done? Let's do a custom one, shall we? Okay. What's the ugliest color? Let's go. Maybe more yellow. Perfect. Okay. Mold. Love it. Okay. Not the vibe of my tribe, exactly. We're going to look at food additives. Okay, so food additives, not foods, food additives. We're going to look at pesticides. Alrighty. It's interesting. We're going to look at air. and water and medicines. Great. Didn't mention vaccines, but he means vaccines there. So you know, we're going to look. They're going to fucking look, you guys. Boy, howdy, are they going to look. We're going to look at ultrasound. They're going to look at mold on an ultrasound. They're going to look at food additives on an ultrasound. Like a baby. They're going to ultrasound that fucking pesticide. They're going to ultrasound the air. And water. They're going to ultrasound water. They're going to ultrasound water and medicine. Because there's a timeline. And ultrasounds are really good at timelines because babies come out after 9 months. That you know something happened. In fact, Congress said to EPA, ordered EPA to tell us that what year the autism epidemic began. Who fucking told this? No, they didn't. What are you talking about? The EPA scientists came back and said it happened in 1989. Okay, so 1989 is when it happened. Now, I don't tell most people my actual birth date because I don't like to, but I will tell you that is not when I was born. So, or my mom or my dad or my dad's dad or my mom's mom or all of my aunts that were murdered by the Nazis were definitely not born in 1989. Ultrasound off in the comments. Yeah. Oh, you know. So, okay, so 1989 is when we all showed up, except not in that one place where in 2000 there was just one that got missed. Don't forget that. Okay. Oh, you know. Oh, you know. You have to find a toxin that became ubiquitous around that time period. Awesome. We're going back to the future, you guys. So there's going to be a toxin in 1989. So they're going to find the toxin in 1989, which is exactly how you do science. You pinpoint how you're going to find a thing that must have happened in 1989 that you will absolutely find. And not only that thing will be found, it will be a toxin specifically, which is a toxin now defined as, which they're going to look at with ultrasound. It has to be measurable by ultrasound, just to be clear. Mold, food additives, pesticide, air, water, and medicines. So we're going to look at the air in 1989 with our ultrasound. Okay. And that affected every demographic from Cubans and Key Biscayne to Inuit in Alaska. So it has to be in Alaska. I'm going to start crying. In 1989. A wonderful date when, what DSM were we on? Were we even on the DSM-4 yet? We might have, I don't even know. We definitely weren't on the DSM-5, so the definition of autism was also not the same, but we haven't clarified that. Okay, the Inuit in Alaska. And it affects boys at a 4-to-1 ratio, which is no longer the same ratio, by the way. And again, we're still finding more of us, you idiot. As girls, I think that's probably fucking untrue. I think it's probably 1-to-1. I actually do. Or very, very, very close, if not. Okay. There's a limited universe of those. What? Wait, what? What? What the fuck are we talking about anymore? So, does he mean he's going to look at pregnant women's ultrasounds? Oh my God. Is that what we're fucking doing? Oh my God, it's eugenics. What the fuck is happening? I didn't even catch what the fuck he could possibly mean. Oh no. That affects boys at a 4-to-1 ratio as girls. There's a limited universe of those. What the fuck is the limited is the limited universe of those girls? But actually it's quite large. What the fuck is that? And you know, Hertz Poda, whoever the fuck was that, was the one who suggested that one of the things we have to look at is ultrasound. I don't think that that's probably a factor, but it's one of the exposures that became ubiquitous. Oh, he thinks you shouldn't have ultrasounds. What the fuck? Oh my God. So it's weirder than I thought. So when he says he's going to look at ultrasound, he thinks ultrasound causes autism. But he doesn't think that. But he's going to mention it. Probably a fact. I don't think that that's probably a factor, but it's one of the exposures. So, okay. That's become ubiquitous during that period. You fucking idiot. Can I just say this with you guys? Ultrasound is part of the reason why we have less dead babies, you fuckwit. And dead mothers, you fuckwit. Who themselves could have been autistic. I don't think that's probably a factor, but it's one of the exposures that's become ubiquitous during that period. And we're going to look at all of them agnostically. We're going to find the potential exposures that increase during that time period. And then we're going to see if there's a link to this, once again, injury. Autism is an injury, confirmed. That is exactly what he thinks it is. And it's just a spectrum of injuries, which again, he thinks is a line that goes from one side to the other, because that's what spectrum means to them. We're almost done. Nathan Worcester from the Epoch Times. Hi, thank you. Blah, blah, blah. Nathan at Epoch Times. I'm sorry. Can I please go? Nathan given us, Nathan Wart. Okay, blah, 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 blah. With Epoch Times. During that same time period of increasing autism prevalence or diagnoses, there's also been a significant increase in maternal and paternal age. Could that be a significant contributor? That actually does have a correlation, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. This could be something to do with epigenetics and information about the environment. There may be a reason why you would have more autistic people be born, because we are a communal species, and it's possible that we do something like, I don't know, fact check people. Perhaps. Yeah, this is a tool of fascism, 100%. They wouldn't know good faith anyways, obviously. Okay, so whatever dude says, beyond maternal and paternal age, yeah, we're going to look at all of that. So he doesn't know that there is a link. That's beautiful. We're going to look at obesity in the parents. Cool. Neither of my parents were obese, and neither were theirs. We're going to look at the age of the parents. We're going to look at diabetes in the parents. So, okay, so we're going to start doing eugenics and screen parents and try to control the following factors and make our superior race of people have children at the correct age, at the correct weight, without diabetes, potentially. They may not be allowed to have diabetes. To have our uninjured children, or as I have noted, what do they call them there? Healthy people, right? Because we're injured people, right? We need to make sure that the good ones, the healthy children, because in that film they showed a bunch of kids doing gymnastics, actually, not baseball. Germany was way more into gymnastics, but there's gonna be so many people playing baseball now. Oh, yes. And then we'll tell women that that's when they need to have babies, right? Yes. Yes. That's like what is it called? It's like what would that be like? Like a master race or something? Wouldn't that be like a master race, or, gee, maybe that's not the right word for it. We'll have to workshop that. And look at all these potential exposures. And because of AI, by the way, AI loves us. Just want to say that. Because it thinks more like us. And because of the digitalization, we shouldn't be, no, I guess it's digitalization. I don't know. Okay, maybe digitalization is right. I'm not used to that word. Of health records. Why did I think it was digitization? Hang on, give me a second. I need to do this. Ah, see? Analog to physical into digital formats. Oh. Okay. But I think he means digitization. because digitalization is the broader process of using digital technologies to improve business processes and operations. I believe he meant digitization, but did not. Let me double check that, because that will make me feel really good, because I have autism and I'm supposed to be inferior to him as I'm injured. Yeah, he meant digitization. RFK, fuck you. How about that? You don't even know what word you meant there. That's the wrong fucking word. Yeah, don't pay taxes. Fuck that shit. And the massive health records. This is so fucking frustrating, that are now available to. Can I just cross that out? Hey, bitch, you picked the wrong word in a public format that you should have been way more on top of everything you said. But this is just fucking embarrassing for you. Trying to talk about how you're fucking superior to us. I don't even like saying the F-bomb this many times in a row, but I'm losing my shit. Losing my shit. Okay, where's the cross out? Where's the cross out? Mofo. Hold on. I don't know how to cross it out. You know what? It's fine. Okay. All right. That are now available to us. We can do this much more quickly than has ever been done in the past. Even though it's never been done before, it's going to be done more. I don't fucking know, dude. So I think they're trying to look. Are they going to look at people's health records as parents? What the fuck what is he talking about? This sounds like some sort of creepy, like, monitoring of people for this shit. Oh my gosh. Yeah, add that. Please add that. Okay, this is our last question. Thank you. I guess Cheyenne is saying it. Do you still pledge to have answers by September or October, I guess? Or is that going to be the beginning of this process? And are you open to, there's actually one more question after this. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that. And are you open to following the science, regardless of whether it confirms some of your expectations or not? I mean, that's how science works. Like, I don't know if he knows what a null hypothesis is. I mean, he fucking doesn't, but okay, never mind. All right. So Hagen says, yeah, I mean, we're going to follow the science no matter what it says. And we will have some of the answers by September, no matter what the fuck. How the fuck are you going to, how? What are you talking about? But it's going to be an evolving process. We're going to involve, we're going to issue grants. Okay, so some grants are going to go to this. Cool. Not to helping us, but to eliminating us through monitoring parents and fucking everything that exists in the entire world, I guess, or something. I don't know. Every substance that surrounds us and all people's bodies as they decide to have children. Okay. This is insane. Let's finish. The way that it's always done to university researchers. Please, university researchers, fucking destroy this. What I want the university researchers to do, honestly, I beg of you, if you know any of them, participate and fuck the data. Like, mess this up. Do Mickey Mouse nonsense. Because this is ridiculous. You're not going to be able to do anything anyway. This is a fucking joke. So just take the money, run, help people with it, and turn in like the most ridiculous ass Star Trek jargon bullshit you can. They won't know the difference. Yeah. Wage a holy crusade against an imaginary enemy. Exactly. And others. Wait, what? To university researchers and others. Who the fuck are and others? Who else does? Okay, so we have vigilante others for our vigilante holy crusade. Great. We're going to remove the taboo that people will know they can research. What? Oh no. We're going to remove the taboo that people will know they can research. So random fuckfaces holding a crystal trying to figure out where to douse which vegetable to pick are going to be researchers in this. Great. And they can follow the science. Follow your nose. No matter what it says, without any kind of fear that they're going to be censored, that they're going to be gaslighted. Sociopaths projecting. And that they're going to be silenced. They're going to be defunded, delicensed. Oh my God. So he's going to not silence, defund, or delicense fucking quacks who come from the pool of and others. In fact, people that have already been silenced because they are fucking quacks who were defunded and delicensed are also clearly going to be welcome in this ridiculous shit show. And we're going to give them permission to do this research. Awesome. They're going to tell people that have no scientific credibility that they are officially scientists of the regime. And then we're going to open it up to the research community, whoever the fuck that is, because I don't know who's left at this point. And we're going to task them with certain outcomes. So you have to, again, science produces outcomes that you are tasked with. That's totally how that works. And we're going to have them come and bid on how to do the research. This is all being run by Jabberwocky, fuck him, and I think Martin Koldorf may be also working on this, whoever the fuck they are, and on designing the grant, proposal. So it's going to be done by credible scientists, whatever the fuck you say, except it's going to be done by credible scientists, by the most credible scientists, except for the ones that would normally be defunded and delicensed. Who don't come from university researchers, but come from a place called others. Cool. From all over the world. Yes, because all over the world is totally going to want to participate in this goddamn circus. Does he know that, like, all over the world hates us? Has he noticed that they think we're a clown show? Why would anyone participate in this? What? You want credible scientists, the most credible scientists, to participate with your ragtag gang of defunded, delicensed others? And Martin Koldorf, who I'm supposed to give a shit about? And not only that, they're going to do it very quickly, very, very quickly, even though they're crashing the world stock market and nobody respects us at all or trusts us. How are you going to convince all over the world to participate in this? Especially with this as your presentation. This is your sell. This was your pitch. One more question, you guys. We almost did it. I can't believe we got through this. Emma Evans. Oh, sorry. I'm Eva Evans. Once you identify which environmental toxins, because that is a totally valid category that people in STEM all use all the time, are causing autism, what do you expect the impact to be on the industries that are causing those? Who Even Actually Cares says, an industry as something I think we're going to figure out a way to make pressure on them to remove it. So we're going to remove the boogeyman that was made by an industry that put it in the air, ultrasound, the water, people's ages, people's diabetes, people's fatness, people's food, people's pesticides that they've eaten on their food or something, etc. Okay. It's going to be removed though, guys. Don't worry. And I think also, there will be market forces that also exert pressure on them to remove it. I just want to note the remove it thing. Again, that's really what they want to remove is us. Don't forget that. All of us. We're all injured. And I want to say that I'm very grateful to blah, 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 because he tased me on day one of this. Sorry, I wish he had. I'm sorry. My brain generated that image for me. And I was just like, thanks, brain. I needed that. If only, right? Oh, the world would be a better place right now. Oh my gosh. Okay, he tasked me on day one of this job with making this a priority to find out what's causing the autism epidemic. And we are going to do it for him. Thank you all very much. So that's exactly why we're doing it. We're going to do this for him. Can I read to you what President Trump said about his nephew? In the book, Fred Trump describes bringing a group of advocates to the White House in May 2020 to meet the top officials, including then U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services Alex Azar and then President Donald Trump. Donald seemed engaged, especially when several people in our group spoke about the heart-wrenching and expensive efforts they'd made to care for their profoundly disabled family members who were constantly in and out of the hospital and living with complex arrays of challenges, Fred Trump wrote. After the 45-minute Oval Office meeting concluded, Fred Trump said his uncle asked to see him. I thought he had been touched by what the doctor and advocates in the meeting had just shared about their journey with their patients and their own family members, but I was wrong, Fred Trump wrote. Those people, Fred Trump said, his uncle told him, the shape they're in, all the expenses, maybe those kinds of people should just die. In another occasion, Fred Trump said he reached out to his uncle to ask for help with a medical fund that the family had set up for his son that was running low. After explaining the situation, Fred Trump recounts that the former whatever told him, I don't know, then let out a sigh and said, he doesn't recognize you. Maybe you should just let him die and move down to Florida. There's another one he did. Let me grab that. Trump talks about bad genes. Let me see if I can find this one. He suggested immigrants have bad genes. Trump said, trying to find this one. Let's see. I'm trying to find the one that he said this. Give me a second. This is worth the effort. There we go. So what's the problem with him anyway? Donald reportedly asked, according to the book. Like, what's wrong with him? Fred writes that he explained how doctors believed William had a genetic disorder, but we're still trying to pinpoint a diagnosis. Donald allegedly responded, not in our family. There's nothing wrong with our genes. Interesting. We are going to do it for him. So do you think saying that you're going to do this for him and you think the entire world is going to participate in this is a smart set of, let's say, I don't want to say propositions because it's not even really that. Like, is that a smart thing to put next to each other, to juxtapose? I don't think so. I feel like that's a bad strategy. This was a nightmare. This is incredibly stupid. This is a stupid man who has stupid people around him to do a stupid thing that's deeply harmful, that is going to get our population that isn't very literate or educated to think a bunch of stupid things. Anybody intelligent will dismiss this. This is ridiculous. Autism is a normal part of human variability. The end. And it's okay that we have health issues with autism. Who gives a shit? So do they. We have different health issues and they don't get the research that they need, and they're not going to. So I have a bill on for autistic people that I think we need to pass. Let me drop that one more time. Here's the link. I'm going to keep working from where I can. We should all keep working. We need to start taking over the government. Okay? High five. Let's do it. Okay, that's what we're going to do. This is insane. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with art. Yeah, exactly. This is crazy. So, all right, we did it. Any closing thoughts? How are we doing? I'm gonna put on a video of some puppies. Actually, let's do some hamsters being cute. All right. Good to see you, Plagued. I think the hamsters did it. I think it's that strawberry. This pesticide. This is an autistic hamster now. Can you see it?
Should we wake up?
This hamster has a purse. That's great.
Should we wake up?
Oh, yes. So cute. You know, there's some signs of light. Okay, I just don't know what to do with this. Okay. Yeah. Anything we need to get off our chest. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Abby, do you have the hiccup?
So we're gonna have to. I guess we're not gonna ultrasound it. We're just gonna look at it. I don't even know how they're gonna look at it. I'm looking at it right now. Does that look like it's autism? Does that look like that's the disease? We have to look at the banana next. I don't know. It looks pretty suspicious to me. I think that hamster's gonna destroy its family. Oh, see? Something's getting destroyed right now with some peekaboo.
Where is he?
I love hamsters.
There she is.
I would like to see a picture of this hamster. Peggy, yes. What color is your hamster? Oh, see? What about the rain? I think it's in the rain. I think it's in the rain, you guys. We gotta look at the rain. We gotta look at the water and the sky.
Wait, what is going on?
Lovely to meet you. Yes, let's go. Let's go. Think tank flattening in the U.S. Please come back on Sundays. We do Autism Report where we clean. I got a little off schedule, but it's 12 o'clock PST. I might start doing it till 3 again, but it's at least 12 to 2. And it's delightful. And it's so nice to have you here. My baby couches. Yeah.
Good boy.
Oh, so cute.
You're smiling.
Look at that. It's so good. I'm gonna turn the. Oh, that's a chinchilla. That's not even a hamster. See, that one got autism. All right, guys. Gals and you pals.
How good are you? Oh, that's really good. Good girl.
All right, let's rejoin later. Don't get too discouraged. Share that transcript with people if you want. I can give you the transcript one more time. Let me do that really quick. Oh, sorry, hamster. We gotta get a transcript back. Here's a transcript that I put together. I have not seen the capybara hanging out in the guinea pigs. Can you show me this? This will be our last thing we look at. No, yeah, what's your brain gonna do with this? It's like being pelted by I don't know, everything wrong at the same time. I can't even think of my brain's also not good right now, and my throat hurts because there's something wrong with my throat a little bit, but we'll never know what it is because we won't do research on what's actually happening to us. Yay! Yay! Okay, we're gonna watch. Let's see. The capybara just wants to love them, and they're all. No, you're not one of us. Brilliant. Yes, thank you. And Waxen, I'm gonna send you my thing that I need to send you. I'm gonna try to find it. Okay. You're all beautiful. Hi, Snaps. It's lovely to see you. I just did a really crazy stream that I think was worth it, and now we're gonna watch one last thing. I'll be back on Sunday. Never give up. We live in the real world and we're testing reality. And oh my God. Oh, you chonky angel, you. Oh, I love it. Oh, he just wants to be part of it. He just wants to hang. Okay. Have a lovely rest, everyone. Have beautiful dreams. Dream about the takeover of everything that we need to take over, because we clearly need to. Oh, awesome. We'll talk more about it. I'll be back on Sunday. Oh, yeah. I am. You know, somebody compared me to Jesus the other day. It was kind of amazing. I was like, yes, all right. What if Jesus did come back as me? That would be weird. That'd be weird, right? That'd be great. I'll be Jesus. The last one fucked it up. Okay, all right. Bye, everyone. Bye. Love you all. Bye.